Well, bom dia, Carl Monson here with the Good Morning Portugal show from expatsportugal.com. Really looking forward to talking to Leonardo Coelho today because we're going to brush up our festive Portuguese. As we saw on the starter screen there, Boas Festas, as you can see on my screen now, Feliz Natal, Bono Ano Novo, Happy New Year, I believe, but we're going to find out. We're going to get, he's smiling already, laughing at my pronunciation in the green room, I think, already. But let's brush up on that Portuguese lingo for Christmas and the New Year, so you don't need to be embarrassed when you're at the shops. Or I know it's not the same, going to be the same Christmas this year. But as we said yesterday, you can't cancel love. You will be bumping into people if you're here in Portugal, and if you're getting ready to come to Portugal, you need to know this stuff. So my guest this morning will be Leonardo or Leo Coelho, who comes from the company Portuguese with Leo, which he'll tell us all about after we've done the weather, of course, because that's how we like to kick off the show with a bit of weather. We have already had a good morning GMP gang, winos and cavers. What does that mean, Gary? Honestly, that's no way to speak to our brothers and sisters here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Do please explain yourself. And a little bit quiet, I think, in the comments this morning. So do have a think about the last time you got stumped when you're out and about and somebody said something to you in Portuguese and you didn't quite know how to respond. Arm yourself with a few key phrases that Leonardo is going to teach us this morning, and any other sort of Portuguese language matters. I'm sure he'll be able to help us with those things that you're stuck with, things that you'd like to know. Do get them into the comments this morning. And also, why are you so quiet, everybody? Where is everyone this morning? Do say hi. Do let me know where you are. And thank you very much for joining me last night on the Portugal playlist. We had some fun playing some Portuguese flavoured music last night. And he's being very personal this morning, is Gary. Your aspect ratio looks a bit squashed. Well, thank you very much, Gary. Igualmente. Bon dia from the UK, from Nick Steinman. Hiya, Nick. Great to hear from you. And what Gary meant to say was good morning to all of our viewers, basically. All right, then. Weather. Let's take a look, shall we? I'll sort out my aspect ratio a little bit later on. I don't know what Gary means there. I'll look at the playback a bit later, but at least you can hear me. That was the most embarrassing thing to happen for a while, wasn't it? No sound. I'm hoping you're seeing the weather right now on the screen. Let me make it easier for you to see by making a less complicated background. The background, of course, was me, Jerry and Astrid from expatsportugal.com, wishing you a very happy Christmas and thanking you for all your support throughout the year. So back to the weather now. Lisbon, where Leo is, my guest this morning, 9 degrees. He'll be able to verify this. 9 degrees and partly cloudy at the moment. A little bit of sun for him and everybody else in Lisbon today. A high of 18 degrees. And looking forward to the Christmas day, still forecast for a little bit of sun. Be nice to go for a little promenade in the afternoon, socially distanced, wearing a mask, blah, blah, all of that. I wonder if any of you have got festive masks. Do send us a picture if you do. 17 degrees tomorrow, 15 on Thursday, but a little bit of rain certainly for tomorrow, and a drier day on Thursday, and then that little bit of sun on Friday, and a sunny weekend in the capital, a sunny festive weekend in the capital with highs of 13 degrees. Let's go to Porto now. Overcast at 13, high of 17 today. No rain today forecast, but it's coming in tomorrow. And then actually, we're looking at a sunny Christmas day in Porto. How lovely. And a Saturday as well, but slightly cloudy on Thursday. In Coimbra, 9 degrees and overcast currently, rising to a very respectable 19, albeit a cloudy day. Some rain tomorrow, then cloudy again on Thursday. And a sunny Christmas day, Friday, 14 degrees, and a sunny Saturday as well. The rain returning on Sunday. Down there in the south, 13 degrees, mostly cloudy in Faro. 18 degrees to look forward to today with a little bit of sun on this. Let me see if I can get this right. Leo will tell me, I'm sure, on this terça-feira, 22 de dezembro. Of the last few days of the year 2020. 18 degrees tomorrow. Rain-free down there in the south, which is rather nice to see. Cloudy days, though, Wednesday, Thursday, and a cloudy Christmas Day forecast so far. Well, that sun forecast for Saturday might come forward and bless you all on Christmas Day with a high of 16 and a high of 14 over the weekend to look forward to. Fantastic. There's the weather for you. How's everyone doing in the comments? Keep those questions coming about Portuguese. Wendy is saying hi, Wendy Van Heerden. And who's this? Eva. Hi from Japan. Tudo bem? From Japan, from Eva. That's fantastic. Good morning from Japan. No, not arigato. That would be thank you. Well, arigato for tuning in. Konnichiwa to you as well. Bon dia up in Porto from Safari from Joe. No, you look better now, and sound is fine. Thank you for your production. It's like having a gantry to refer to, a control room, Gary, my executive producer there in Alvagra. And from Steve and Claire. Wow, I haven't heard from you for ages. Bon dia, Carl. Frosty starting Knutsford this morning. The delightfully named Knutsford in Cheshire, in the northwest of England. How are you guys doing over there this morning? Okay, lovely to say hello to you all. Keep those comments and hellos coming in. Let's welcome to the screen now our guest this morning, Leonardo Coelho. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty well, thank you. Yeah, a bit of a rush getting things together this morning. And not just a squashed aspect ratio, but I need to get a shave, I think. I'm getting really unkempt. It's what happens as we run up to Christmas.
What?
It's what happens, I think, when in the run-up to Christmas, we kind of relax and let things go. But I must say, you're looking very well-trimmed there, Leonardo, if you don't mind me being so familiar.
I took care of it yesterday.
Oh, you trimmed yesterday. Very good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Yes, I should have I should have done the same. Forgive me for not doing so. I'll go out today and make it look like I've got an owner. I love going out for a haircut and a trim in Portugal. It's a really good part of the Portuguese culture here. So tell us about yourself, Leo, and your wonderful business where you're doing the fantastic job of teaching people how to speak Portuguese.
Yeah. So you called it a company during the intro, which is it's hardly a company. It's just me. It's it's a YouTube channel and a podcast, and I started this during lockdown. I don't know how much time we have, but if you want a little bit of the backstory.
Yes, absolutely. Tell us about yourself.
So I work in tourism, or I did, and I had some time off, as you can imagine, because of COVID, because of restrictions. And so I've always been a big language buff and a language enthusiast. I speak 6 languages. Woo. And one of them is French, which wasn't at its best when we started lockdown. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna take these months without any work. I have some savings. I don't need to find work for the time being, and I can brush up on my French. And I found this guy who has a YouTube channel, kind of the same thing that I do for French, where he speaks in slow French about interesting topics. So if you're an intermediate learner, it's pretty good because you're already done with the basics. You want to get some more interesting content, but things that are made for native speakers are still too difficult for you. And so that's that perfect middle ground where you can slow up speed up the playback speed in the videos if you want to, keep them slow. He had easy words, easy vocabulary. He explained the difficult words. And after like a month of listening to his podcast and watching his videos, I thought I could actually do the same thing for Portuguese. And I already had this kind of, let's call it a bit of a dream of starting a YouTube channel a couple of years ago. And this was the catalyst, let's say, that got me to do free time and this guy that inspired me. So yeah, here we are 6 months later. Yeah.
What an amazing idea. What a brilliant thing to do. Absolutely. I'm just looking at your YouTube channel now. Let's get people subscribing there. It's all important, isn't it, with the with YouTube?
Yeah. Especially because we're so close to 10,000, so which I did not expect.
All right. Well, let's help you get even closer to that. The YouTube channel, and for me, when it comes to learning Portuguese, I think we need all the help we can get. So whatever resources you can lay your hands on, go find them and do the work. And this particular resource will be on YouTube, Portuguese with Leo. Okay. So actually, I'll stick it in the comments as well so people can find you and get you closer to the magical 10,000, which is, I would like to get to 1,000, but 10,000 is where it's at, right, Leo?
Yeah, well, I was delighted to get to 1,000 too. I never thought it would happen. Honestly, I thought it was going to be like a year before I did, but I was lucky. And actually, we connected through Facebook, and I realized that posting on Facebook groups really helped with getting people to my channel. And I'm also lucky that I'm in a niche that is relatively unexplored. And it wasn't on purpose, but I'm one of the few European Portuguese channels, so that helps.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting because I thought there'd be quite a few, but I suppose with languages, often people take a more traditional, old-fashioned approach, and you're at the other end, aren't you? You're the cutting edge. I love this idea of playing the videos faster or slower to suit your ear and your level of ability. So you're really taking the technology of our times and making it work for, I suppose, what is the oldest thing for human beings, isn't it? Is learning how to communicate with each other, and in this context, teaching people who have come to this country, or I don't know, maybe that isn't your only type of customer, but helping people get to grips with Portuguese, which does need slowing down from time to time, right? Because Portuguese very, very fast. So yes, who are your clients then? Who have you found who wants to learn in this short time you've been going?
I'm sure you can relate to what I'm about to say. You're English, right? Or British?
Yes.
And I'm assuming most people who don't move to the UK want to learn American English. And you could probably tell by my accent that that's the variety that I learned.
Yeah.
And the thing happens with Portuguese where most people are going to want to learn Brazilian Portuguese, which I'm all for, because if I were a foreigner looking to learn Portuguese, I would learn the variety that is spoken by 98% of the people that speak the language. So the people that want to learn what I have to teach, or that want to learn my variety of Portuguese, are a very small niche group, which is people like you who moved to Portugal and have a bigger interest in learning that variety of the language rather than Brazilian, which is spoken by most people. Or people with Portuguese ancestry. For example, there's a lot of Americans and Canadians I've noticed in the comments that are like parents emigrated from usually Madeira or the Azores. And so there's a little bit of that too. People in France as well, descending from Portuguese immigrants. So there's a little bit of that too. But most people who either move to Portugal or are planning on moving.
Did you just, I've got to take you back to that statement. Did you say 98% of people who speak Portuguese speak Brazilian Portuguese?
98% of native speakers, yeah.
Wow. So yeah, I guess when you look at it like that from the point of view of numbers rather than history, that's it. Unless it would be the same with English, wouldn't it? Who speaks English, you might ask, and you say, well, English people. But then it's millions upon billions of people who speak English, isn't it? Who far outnumber the native English speakers. Yeah, I'd never looked at it like that. That's amazing. Okay, we've got a few comments coming in and hellos. We still need some questions about how Leo. Well, we've got him here. Let's get him to help us, and we'll talk about that A2 exam as well, which temporary residents need to get through to become permanent residents. Doctor, we've got a doctor in the house. Dr. A. Thompson's here. Bon dia from Leiria, which is a word I always struggle to pronounce. Well, would you believe Moscow this morning? Carol Wieland is here. From Moscow, bon dia from her, and hello to you, Caroline. Not sure we've seen you here before in the mornings. Paulo Simois, we have bon dia a todos, and Fiona's delighted to have you here. Yay, European Portuguese, off to subscribe.
Well, let me just say something. Sorry. Of
course.
So when I try to make a video every week, which is hard work. And for now, I only have subtitles in Portuguese because I usually have a script and then I turn that into the subtitles. But I just found a way to create English subtitles with minimal work. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to be adding English subtitles to all my videos. So I feel like people would want to know that, because maybe for some people watching us now, it's going to be a little bit difficult to listen to the video in Portuguese and follow it along with Portuguese subtitles. But in the next couple of weeks, English subtitles are going to be available on every video.
Well, bless you. You're really thinking about how to help people, which is fantastic, and that's what's needed, isn't it? It's for people to feel confident and at ease whilst learning, because there's nothing worse than trying to learn while you're stressed. It just they don't go together, do they? We have at least one new subscriber for you. Fiona's subscribed, and she's given us a little smiley face as well. She's very delighted to have found you there, Leo, this morning. And from Doreen, look, Doreen's showing off, a fellow linguist. Bon dia, bonjour, buongiorno, good morning, buenos dias, and good morning. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? So she's done it in 6 languages as well. Very good, Doreen. Excellent. Gary says, went out yesterday to try and find a part for my car. This is specialist Portuguese. I never use one word of English. Quite pleased with myself. Couldn't find the part though, unfortunately. Okay, what is it? A tight end or something like that, Gary, that you were looking for? Or I don't know. a big end or something like that. Another one's just subscribed. Kathleen, good morning to you. Kathleen, great to have your company this morning. Bon dia from Germany. We'll be back to my Portuguese home on Sunday. I think Gabby's very delighted to be doing that on Sunday. And Nick's also subscribed. Look at him chucking in a Portuguese também as well. Very good. Okay, so I wonder if we can go to those festive basics now, Leo. I've put a simple Boas Festas. People say Feliz Natal. We're going to be going into the, Bono Ano Novo as well.
Yeah.
I think I've made a mess of that. But what's the difference, for example, then, between why would you say Boas Festas instead of Feliz Natal or vice versa?
So I think I would, by default, say Feliz Natal. Feliz Natal is Merry Christmas. And actually, the typical the Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year thing that we have in Portugal would be Feliz Natal e próspero ano novo.
Próspero ano novo.
Yeah, so prosperous New Year, which honestly is a word that we use once a year. I don't see people using this word very often, except to wish a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in this long form. Very, it's kind of like an idiom at this point. But aside from that, Feliz Natal, Boas Festas is just like happy holidays.
Yes,
okay. The festivities in general. People will say that too. And then just any variation of that. So Bom Natal, Feliz Natal, Boas Festas, Felizes Festas, or Festas Felizes.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't try to say that one. Is a little hard it's a little harder to pronounce, a lot of F's and S's. I would stick to Feliz Natal, Bom Natal, whichever one rolls off the tongue more easily. And then Feliz Ano Novo, Bom Ano Novo, or Bom Ano, just Bom Ano, or Bom Ano Novo, Feliz Ano Novo. And if you want to impress someone, Feliz Natal e próspero ano novo.
I do like that. Feliz Natal e próspero ano novo.
Yeah, a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Very funny, isn't it, that we only allow each other to wish us that once a year.
Exactly.
Now's the time to do it. Okay, and I'm thinking, what sort of other situations we might find ourselves in over Christmas. Like I said, it's going to be very different this year, but Christmas is not cancelled, folks.
Yeah, yesterday I was doing some research and writing the script for my video that's coming tomorrow that I'm going to film today. That's also part of the reason why I trimmed my beard about Christmas. And so, for example, Christmas decorations, or actually what we set up in our homes, right? So the Christmas tree, Árvore de Natal. The Christmas decorations are usually bolas.
Yeah.
Fitas. So what do you call those?
Oh, the tinsel.
Yeah, exactly. The ones that go around the tree.
Yeah.
We call them fitas.
Fitas.
Like Fitas.
Yes, fitas.
Yeah, fita is just a band, right? And that's a sort of band that goes around the tree.
Yeah.
Christmas lights, luzes de Natal.
Luzes de Natal, sim.
Yeah. What else? And then we have presents, which are either presentes or prendas.
Okay.
And then the nativity scene, presépio. This is a very specific word.
Yeah. And I love that about Portugal. The presepios that you see all over the country. It's a beautiful tradition. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you do it in your home, but usually people set up one in their own homes too.
Okay.
Some are more elaborate, some are very simple. Like the simplest you have is at least one Joseph, one Mary, and one baby Jesus. And then, for example, my parents are divorced. In my dad's place, they have like the whole thing that takes up the length of the couch. Like it's set up against the couch with with water running and lots of shepherds and angels and baby Jesus and all these little figurines. And then at my mom's place, it's just the simplest thing you can imagine.
She's more of a minimalist, is she?
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. So that's quite a nice thing to do, and obviously a way of learning the language as well, isn't it? Is to name each of the pieces, and as you get more confident, just keep adding more, and then you get that out next year and see how much you're learning.
An advice that I have. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. It's just
fine, absolutely. Go ahead.
You know, if you have the time or willingness to do this, is if you have little post-it notes, is if when you're learning Portuguese, depending on how far along you are, is putting them up on objects in your house.
Yes.
With the names in Portuguese.
Yeah.
Refrigerator, frigorífico. Table, mesa. And that helps you build vocabulary, at least with stuff that you're surrounded with every day and that words that you're gonna end up using every day.
I think I might try it with my wife and children as well. Just put that, mulher on the wife, is that right?
Mulher, exactly.
Criança uma, criança dois, criança três. Put a little post on each of them.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So what is your advice then, as somebody who really knows about these things? And this is a condition I think people find themselves in. They come to Portugal with the best of intentions, and they get in some skirmishes with linguistic skirmishes, and they lose confidence. How to deal with that? How to get cracking and get going and feel confident learning the language, Leo?
What kind of skirmishes? You mean like themselves not feeling confident, or people criticizing them?
No. I don't mean nothing physical. I mean, I just mean like, the emotional embarrassment of like, typically, I think it's like you think you're going into a cafe and you think you're fairly competent and confident, and you'll be saying, tudo bem, and people will just be talking back in Portuguese, and then they'll come out with this like 2 sentences of completely indistinguishable Portuguese, and you stand there and you just don't know what to do, because you don't even know how to say, sorry, I didn't understand what you just said. And then they go, you're English, aren't you? It's fine, we can talk in English. And you're like, oh. So how to get over that?
I mean, I've been through that with other languages too. I think first of all, having some phrases prepared is a good idea. I think my approach to learning languages is always learn the most used words. Actually, on my website, PortugueseWithLeo.com, I have a list of the 1,000 most used words. I think you should always start with that.
Yeah.
So think about the situations you're going to be in, and do some homework beforehand. Like, how do I order coffee at a specific place? At least you know how to say what you want to say. As far as understanding what they say back at you, yeah, it comes with time. I mean, it's hard at first. Maybe also learn the phrase, something like "Desculpe, não percebi. Pode falar mais devagar, por favor." Like, can you speak slower, please? And with your accent and your pace of speech, they are going to understand you're a foreigner, and they're going to adapt, I think. And usually people are nice, and I think even though, as a native English speaker, or even if you're not a native English speaker, most people speak English. Portugal has the Portuguese in general have a good level of English, which doesn't make it easy if you want to learn Portuguese, because people just be like, you know what, let's speak English, it's fine.
Yeah.
You really have to like make an effort and force the people you're talking to adapt to your level of Portuguese.
Okay.
And it takes some effort in the beginning, but yeah, so the strategy is think of the situations you're going to go through and maybe prepare beforehand, and have that phrase prepared for when people reply back at you. If you didn't understand, be like, "Desculpe, não percebi." Polite. If you just say "what," maybe people are not going to be so friendly. But if you say something like "Desculpe, não percebi," pode repetir, like, can you repeat? Or pode falar, can you speak mais devagar? Devagar is slow. Mais devagar is slower, more slow.
Very good. That's having a strategy, isn't it? And then I guess that's a good life lesson, isn't it? Is be prepared as best you can be, but also put yourself in those awkward positions, because that's how we learn as well, isn't it? Get out there and do that. And you're absolutely right, Leo. I think Portuguese people are very understanding. So many Portuguese people have traveled themselves and they know what it's like. And I must say, you mentioned French before. I find it much easier to be a dunce in Portugal than I do in France, where people are sometimes less forgiving. But that's That's just my experience. Eva says from Japan, amazing, great idea. I want to live in Portugal too, and studied Portuguese up to level B2. Wow, I only had Brazilian books, and to get European Portuguese, I had to look up words at Reverso Dictionary. So there's a resource for you, everybody, as an online dictionary, Reverso. Jim, guten Morgen, Gary, Leonardo, all from rainy Wiesbaden, Germany. Good morning to you. Good morning to you, Jim. And Yefitash garlands is the word I think we were looking for there. Thank you, Carolyn, for that.
Okay.
Eva has also subscribed to, it would be helpful getting vocabulary for everyday life, such as gaveta. What does that mean? What is Eva referring
to? Actually, that's a drawer. When you like a drawer that you pull out.
Oh, okay. Very good. And we've got Shelley. Good morning, Shelley, in Alentejo this morning, showing off a bit here. Por para pelo, pela, pelos, pelage. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I can explain. We're getting to a little bit of grammar here. You have prepositions. Por and para are prepositions.
Uh-huh.
And the difference, when to use one or the other, that's a whole nother video. Maybe I'll do one in the future. But generally speaking, por is for, is the means, and para is the end. Is to, is like I'm heading. A good example, vou para casa, I'm going home.
Yes.
Taking this street. Vou para casa por esta rua. Very good. So por is the means, para is the end, right? In most situations. So this is a good rule of thumb.
Excellent.
And pelo, usually in English, you have your preposition is followed by the article. So the. So for the video, para o vídeo. For this video, we're learning Portuguese. And in Portuguese, we do that too, except we have 4 articles. O, a, os, as, which is the masculine singular, the masculine plural, the feminine singular, the feminine plural, right? So this is all stuff people should know. Yep. They want to learn Portuguese. And there are 4 prepositions, if you're still with me, that merge with the articles. So for example, para does not merge with any article. You say para o, to the. For example, the preposition, the most common ones do merge. So pelo is por plus o, for the. Pelo. Pela is for the feminine. Pela. Pelos, pelas, same thing. For example, the same thing with de, which is like árvore de Natal, Christmas tree, something of something. Yes. Da, dos, das. And same thing with, there's 4. De, por, em, which is in, no, na, nos, nas. And there's another one. And this is again where I plug my website, because I have on my list of 1,000 words, I have the words are divided up in categories like nouns, function words and verbs and all that. So you have this. There's a table with this, with how they merge and what they mean, all the different prepositions. So go check it out.
Oh, that's really helpful. Thank you so much. And it's, I think it's a difficult thing to do on the spot like that. So you did that proud for Shelley there, I think, and that was very educational for me. And that's what it's about, isn't it? Just sort of picking up little bits as you go, like a sort of language magpie, and thinking, oh yeah, I get that now. That makes sense. And yeah, something clicked for me there. So thank you for that. With the articles, that's especially helpful. Chris Rattenbury from Devon in the UK, his friend Mrs. T gives life advice by a translator, or like a human being that you take everywhere with you, Chris, or simply learn Makaton. And I know that a lot of expats use sign language as well, which can become very comical. Or yes, Makaton as well, the non-verbal language. Just subscribe to Leo's channel, says Dr. Thompson. And let's see what else people are saying. So lots of lovely comments coming in. Thank you so much, everybody. Boas Festas, guys. Hi to Leonardo. Love his podcast. You've got a fan there in the Algarve, in Ali. Fantastic. Excuse me. Oh, thank you, Gary. I was once told that beards contain more germs than a toilet seat. I have no way of verifying this, though. No, I'm not. I'm not going to invite you to. No, I'm not even going to say that. One of the reasons mine went down the plug hole. There he is, a bald-faced virtue signaler. In Gary there. Bom dia, e boas festas a todos from Lena as well, who's a language teacher, an incredible writer too. I think originally from Scandinavia. I grew up in Massachusetts in the US with many from the Azores. My ancestors are from Portugal and Cape Verde, where they speak a completely different dialect of Portuguese Creole. That's more like Brazilian. Yeah, I mean, these are all the variants, aren't they? They're absolutely fascinating. I discovered the other day there's a second language actually in the mainland Portugal of Mirandense, I think. Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, Mirandes. Yeah.
Do you speak any of that up in the north?
And it's in the very northeast, in a place called Miranda do Douro, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh-huh.
And it's very very small. Only the people that live there speak that language.
Amazing. Thank you, Doreen, for that lovely comment and mentioning all those lovely Portuguese places or places that speak Portuguese. I spend most of my life at my desk on computers. How do you say that? Go on. Could you complete, Kathleen?
Should we say the whole phrase, the whole sentence?
Sure.
Yeah, eu passo. By the way, in Portuguese, you don't have to say I. You can just cut that out because the verb conjugation already indicates who's speaking. But eu passo a maior parte da minha vida, or do meu tempo, most of my life and most of my time, eu passo a maior parte do meu tempo à secretária no computador.
Computador. Yes, I figured that out there.
And this was the fourth preposition that was missing. A or just the letter A.
Okay.
Which is at. So A, open A, is plus This is very annoying. Like it's which is the preposition, plus which is the article, as secretaria, the desk. Put them together, it's an A with an accent.
Okay.
So at the desk, passo a maior parte do meu tempo, the majority of my time. A secretária, at the desk, no computador.
There you go, Kathleen. You now know what to say. You can watch this back on YouTube or on our Facebook live and absolutely nail that. Thanks to Leo here. That's amazing. And I'm sorry to hear that, Kathleen. Basically, you need to get out more. Obviously, following the restrictions, but it's one of the challenges of our age, isn't it? They said that these computers would make life easier and that we'll be free to skip around the fields and do lots of leisure things. I don't know. That was about 50 years ago. It hasn't quite turned out like that. Fiona Worrell says, my problem is people spot me a mile off and speak English straight away. It's the Union Jack T-shirt, Fiona, maybe different clothing. Even when I've carefully prepared what I wanted to say. So, something to do with being a crazy-looking dreadhead hippie witch granny. Okay. Maybe you need I was only kidding about the Union Jack T-shirt. Maybe a T-shirt that says, I want to speak in Portuguese or something like that on it, or a little badge. We need a badge, don't we? The Expats Portugal badge that says, please speak to me in Portuguese. Leo?
But the badge should be in Portuguese. Otherwise, people are going to read it in English and they're going to speak English to you right away.
So what would that be then? If we do make some badges like that say, please speak to me in Portuguese, I could make a terrible guess at that, but I'm not going to embarrass myself.
Actually, how about just a badge saying, não falo English? I don't speak English in Portuguese.
No falo English. Very good. Okay, yeah. I think that would strike terror into the hearts of many, putting themselves in such a vulnerable position. But why not?
That would solve it, yeah.
That would solve it. And I do love your description of yourself, Fiona, there. The crazy-looking dreadhead hippie witch granny. We will know you when we see you. Listening to a language 3 months before starting to actually learn it helped me a lot. Oh, I see. So using the radio and the TV, perhaps the sounds are in the brain. Perhaps already then. That's a really good idea from Eva in Japan. Good channels to listen to, Leo, that aren't going to make you sound like you watch Big Brother all the time or whatever. Which are the most cultured Portuguese channels to listen to?
So you mean what would be for native speakers as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you have to. People do say watch the TV, listen to the radio, but you've got to be a little bit careful what you listen to, because if you listen to, like the trendy radio station for kids, you're going to sound like a gangster walking about Lisbon, aren't you?
So my recommendation, and this is what I do with not just with the languages that I learned, but now that I'm trying to maintain them. English, I use it all the time, so it's not really an issue. But the other languages I speak, Italian, French, Spanish, German. When you get first, you got to find channels like my own, which are made for people who are learning. So I speak slowly. I use easy words, and I'm going to add the subtitles in English, so it's going to be even easier. When you get to a point where that's fairly easy to understand, and you want to move on to channels where the person's speaking, or television or whatever, where the person's speaking at a normal pace, at a native speaker pace, I would just try to find things made for native speakers about a subject matter that interests you.
Okay, yeah.
That's the best motivation, is watch videos or listen to podcasts that you would normally listen to in your own native language, but in the language you're learning.
Very good. So that you can pick things out that you'll be hearing.
And you'll be interested. It won't be boring. It won't be like a bit of a hurdle to practice Portuguese. It's actually going to be interesting because you would listen to that content anyway.
Yes, very good.
And the leap from moving to content made for people who are learning the language to content made for native speakers is a little bit tough in the beginning. Takes some getting used to it, but it's worth that initial adaptation period, and then you're going to be listening to, even if you don't speak at that level, because understanding is a lot easier than speaking.
Yes. You're
going to be understanding native speakers mostly, for the most part. So that makes. If I could recommend a few, I discovered this podcast called, they talk about, this is, if you're a bit of a nerd like me and you like, philosophy and politics, but more than politics, like ideas, generally speaking. They only have 8 episodes up, and they have some big name guests on their show, on the podcast. I don't know if you know who probably the greatest contemporary Portuguese comedian is.
Can you do a multiple choice quiz for us? A, B, or C, and we'll make that a quiz so people learn about Portuguese culture. So the top Portuguese comedian. Can we have 3 choices to choose from there?
I mean, if I give you comedians, people are going to be mad because not everyone's going to agree.
Yes.
But you have whatever. You have Bruno Nogueira.
Yeah.
Ricardo Araújo Pereira. Tiago Dores.
Right.
Pick one out of these 3.
I think I'm going to go like I would in any multiple choice quiz and go for the middle one.
Well, should I answer?
Yes.
Yeah, you're correct. You won. You won the prize. Congratulations.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so he was their first guest, and the podcast is called Profectus. Profectus, which is a Latin word that means something. Profectus. And it's I'm opening it up here on Spotify. Yeah, and each episode, for example, there's an episode in English, even number 5, which is where they have the CEO of Fitness Hut, which is the largest gym chain in Portugal. He's actually English, I think, or something.
Very good.
And most episodes are in Portuguese, and this is a suggestion.
Very good. I love that idea because, yes, you're engaged then in the subject matter as well as the language, rather than making it difficult for yourself. We need to make it easy and enjoyable, don't we? That's really good. Thank you for that. We've got some lovely questions for you. Let's have a look. Bon dia from Belgium this morning. Gianni has subscribed. Now I have to find the time with all the courses I follow. Do you think Portuguese will become more Brazilian over time? Is a good cultural question there. What do you think, to Gary's question?
I think actually maybe. Well, not that we're going to notice it in our lifetimes or anytime soon, but
yeah,
we are. Maybe the same thing's happening in the UK. We are starting to adapt to use more Brazilian words, not the accent, because that sounds weird and unnatural. But we are starting to use more Brazilian words in our everyday conversations. I have a 10-year-old sister, and they have access to the internet, and her native language, and the people her generation, their native language is Portuguese. So they're going to look for content in Portuguese, and most of what they're going to find is Brazilian.
Yes.
Because that 98% people who speak it and create content in that variant of the language. So her generation, so 10-year-olds and kids these days, they are being bombarded with Brazilian YouTubers and music, and even my generation, but to some extent. So their slang is very Brazilian.
Yeah.
So when they speak normally, their accent is there and their words are there, but like she even told me that kids sometimes speak Brazilian Portuguese to each other.
Fascinating. Yeah, I think sometimes where the word sounds a bit cooler or sexier, people will start using it, won't they? So when I've toasted people who speak Brazilian Portuguese, they'll be, instead of like a saúde, they'll be saying saúde. And that to me, yeah, it just sounds cooler, doesn't it? Than when you're throwing your
very festive the way I see it.
Yeah, saúde. Cheryl saying, can you repeat Leo's website? That was a YouTube channel that I just put up, but to find Leo on the web is Portuguese with Leo. Does what it says on .com. So I'll stick that up in the comments as well, and we'll put that on there for you in a moment, Cheryl. Carmen, in my brief time at San Miguel, I found the locals to be very helpful and encouraging with my attempts to speak Portuguese over there in the Azores. And Antonio F., Portuguese language is very gender specific, which is a whole load of sociological, political can of worms, isn't it? With how gender specific Portuguese is. That's going to be fascinating as well, I think.
That's Romantic languages.
Yes, yes.
And actually, one other advice recommendation is that do I run classes? I'll answer afterwards.
Okay.
If you happen to speak any Spanish, don't assume we do. Portuguese people will be offended if people just assume it's Spanish that they speak and just straight up talk to them in Spanish. We'll be like, "You're British, aren't you? Why don't you stick to English?" And that's already starting off with the wrong foot. So try starting with Portuguese, and if they speak English to you, but you feel confident enough in your Portuguese that you want to, hold your own and keep speaking Portuguese, politely explain, like, can you speak slower and in Portuguese? And if you address people in Portuguese, they're going to be happy that you're trying to learn the language, because most people don't.
Yes. Yeah.
So most of them are going to help.
Fantastic. Okay, so do you run classes? I think a lot of people who teach online sometimes have a retreat or an immersive experience. Are you going to be doing that?
I have a few ideas. I just don't. I can't put them all into practice because of COVID, because of restrictions. But as soon as we're able to all meet in larger groups, I want to do a few different meetups with people who watch my channel, where you're only allowed to speak Portuguese and stuff like that. Classes, I do private tutoring, but I can only take like 4 students at any given time.
Okay.
Because it's a little time consuming. So right now, I am not available. I apologize.
Okay. All right, but I guess there might be a waiting list, and certainly subscribe and stay in touch with what Leo's doing there. Thank you, Jean. Sorry.
Let me just, people reach me either through email, leo@portuguesewithleo.com.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the best way to reach me. And if I ever have an opening, then I'll reply back saying, yeah, if you want to do classes with me, let's go.
Terrific. Okay, I see we're coming up to 1:45 already. It's been my aim to make this a very snappy 30-minute show. Never happens. Are you happy to talk for a bit longer?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Great. Joel and Antonio, 2 Portuguese men, are giving us extra information in the comments. So thank you both so much for that. It's always wonderful to know that real Portuguese people tune in and listen and are very forthcoming with their information and very giving to the community here. So thank you, Joel, as ever, and to Antonio F. Peter, this Christmas is obviously bringing the best out in Channel Islands. Pete here. Christmas for us here is Comunidade, os vizinhos, o bacalhau, na véspera de Natal, o vinho tinto. I'm keeping up so far, Pete, because food, I mean, that's a great way to learn, isn't it? People are interested in food, obviously. O vinho tinto, boa comida, partilhado com os nossos amigos. Boas festas para todos. No, I think it's all about getting together, drinking and eating, and wishing us a happy Christmas there, Pete. Thank you so much for that. Gail, bon dia from Gail, who's also subscribed this morning. We're going to get you to that 10,000, I think. Thank you, Fiona from Cheryl. I'm an economist, so that's what we do. Oh, you're one of those, Kathleen. We'll have to talk to you about that. And so we can find out what the likely long-term effects of the pandemic are, and how, whether it's going to be our grandchildren, great-grandchildren, or great-great-grandchildren who'll be paying the debt of this current situation. My goodness. That's why you spend so much time at your desk. Marcos Valbon. Hello, Carl. In Mirandês speaks to idioms Portuguese and the Mirandês. Always good for a bit of info as well, Marcos there. And the Portuguese men are talking about this language, the Mirandês, which is great. Hi from John Bombolo. Hi, good morning. Hola, bon dia. A new name in the crowd this morning. Thank you so much, John, for saying hi. How's about a T-shirt, says Gary, that says, let's talk Portuguese. And Anna saying, Gary Austin, vamos falar português. That's the one we want to go with, isn't it? That could work, Leo.
That could work. I think either that or no follow English, because if you have a T-shirt that says let's speak Portuguese, even if it's in Portuguese, people know you're not Portuguese. Have that T-shirt. If you have one that says no follow English, people might think you're Portuguese and you just don't speak English.
Yes. Okay. All right. So maybe
yeah.
One on the back.
Either one.
One on the back, one on the front, and maybe with the learner logo on it as well, says Gary. Not sure I quite understand this, John, but você e de Portugal. Is he asking me if I'm from Portugal, possibly, or I don't know.
I am. You're not.
Okay. All right. Yes, we do explain. I saw do Brazil, so from Brazil, the mystery solved there. Let me catch up with myself here with all these lovely comments. Profectos Ricardo Araujo Pereira. So that was the podcast that you were recommending. Thank you, Anna, for that.
With a U. Profectus.
Okay, Profectus. Okay. This is a good question. This would keep Kathleen at her desk even longer. Is there a good business and finance podcast in Portuguese that you know of?
Good question. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I don't know. Actually, there's a YouTube channel that is good. Yeah. At least for finance and I don't know, business. It's called Renda Maior.
All right, brilliant. There we go. Nice recommendation for you, Kathleen. Is the protocol for using the formal versus informal socially as important as the big faux pas when used incorrectly as it is in Italy? So could you cause a diplomatic or familial outrage by using the wrong article when referring to elders, for example?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think assuming you speak with an accent, and maybe you have some trouble finding the words, people are going to understand.
Yeah.
That it's hard to use to change between formal and informal. But yeah, as a rule of thumb, when you approach someone you don't know or someone who's serving you, at a counter, ordering at the restaurant, whatever it is, usually do the formal.
Oh, there you go, Doreen. And actually, I've got in more trouble doing it the other way around by being too formal with people. Our lovely friend Philomena, who joins us occasionally, when I say você to her, she's like, come on, we know each other now. You don't have to keep using você with me. So it's the other way around sometimes as well, which I find very interesting. Hi, Carl. I am Andy from Facebook. I'll lose the doctor when I get round to it. We like it. Keep the doctor. It sounds like we've got a sort of very learned and professional listenership when you do that. So we need a few more professors, pilots, lawyers, whatever. Just put all the letters after your name in as well, all your degrees and everything if you want to. Here on the show, that's fine with me. More Brazilian like tá legal. I'm not sure what that means either, but does that make any sense to you, Leo?
I don't know what the question is, but tá legal. I don't know. I know legal in Brazilian Portuguese, apart from meaning legal, as not illegal, it also means cool. Something is cool, it's legal.
Yes. Okay.
Say fish, which is a made-up word. I don't know where that one comes from, but that's what we use. Yeah.
Feature is something I learned by watching children's television with my kids. So the Canal Panda. That's their catchphrase, isn't it? And I'd never understood what they meant until I got it. Someone said, "Cool is Fija, Canal Panda, Fija," and so yeah, watch children's TV as well. So I think we should perhaps let you go because I'm sure you're a busy man. 10 to 10 already. Can we just have a final word on how to get the most out of the Portuguese language? The learning experience. How do we fall in love with the language? How do we prepare ourselves for this A2 moment that people see in the distance when they want to become permanent residents?
So, I mean, first of all, if you want to learn a language, you need motivation.
Yeah.
And that comes from your relationship with the language and the country. So if you're looking to move, that's already big motivation. So if you're one of the people who are going to do the A2 exam, I think you already have the motivation. As far as strategy goes, like I said, I mean, exams are always a little more difficult, if you will, because you don't choose what's going to be asked, right? So the way I approach language learning is learn the things that are more relevant to you. So learn the 1,000 most used words, because those are going to be useful always. And then learn vocabulary specific to the situations you're going to be in, your hobbies, your work. So I love playing the guitar. So I would learn vocabulary related with music, listening to Portuguese music, that helps too. Things you're going to surround yourself with on a daily basis. But if you're going to prepare for the exam, I also recommend you go to the website Instituto Camões and download their exam. What do you call this? Like models, like
Curriculum.
No. They have what do you call it? Like
or test papers and so on.
Test papers, yeah, exactly. And if you're going to do A2, start with A1, download the A1, do it. You build that confidence.
Yeah.
I think they have one, maybe two per level. So do them all. And you're practicing the exam format too, which is important. It's not just knowing the language, it's also being prepared for that specific exam.
Yes, indeed. Wow, thank you so much. It's been lovely talking to you this morning. Just
it was fun.
Oh, I'm glad you think so. There's your website scrolling across the bottom at the moment. I know people have been making far more comments than we've been able to read out, with some of the nuances, talking about Brazilian Portuguese, talking about European Portuguese, and some of the sort of cultural things to be aware of. So thanks to you all for doing that. Might be worth going back to check out the comments later on, because we've missed some.
So before I leave, just want to reiterate also to the people that weren't here. Right now, the videos they're all in Portuguese, and they're going to stay that way. But they only have subtitles in Portuguese. But coming in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to add subtitles in English to all of them. Fantastic. For those that are watching this who are still not at that level where they don't need the subtitles in English.
Fabulous, fabulous. Okay, so the key phrase that you taught us, we'll finish with that. So it's Feliz Natal e próspero novo ano.
And yeah, whichever one. But usually, like the typical Feliz Natal e próspero ano novo.
Ano novo. Perfect. Thank you, Leo. Lovely to make your acquaintance. Good luck with your project. Sounds like you've done an amazing job, dealing with the curveball that was the pandemic and making something really positive out of it. So have a great Christmas, have a great New Year, and look forward to talking to you again.
You too. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Bye for now. There goes Leo. Go to PortugueseWithLeo.com. I think we better leave it there this morning, folks. Here we are again, 6 minutes to 10. I'm so sorry to keep you. I'm sure you got presents to buy, wrap, bacalhau to cook, all sorts back at base there. So have a super day. And we'll see you this evening with our Happy Homesteaders and Portuguese Positive News Hour. Actually the last one we're going to do in that format. So come say hello to our expat elder, always a você, for our expat elder and the grandmother of our community, Jacqueline, tonight, Donna Jacqueline. So we'll see you tonight at 10 for that. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao, até logo. Abraços, beijinhos.